G'day legends, I hope you're all amazing. On today's video, we're going to check out not one, but two new pedals from Korg built around their NuTube technology, the Power Tube Reactor and the Harmonic Distortion. I've been pretty curious about the NuTube stuff for a little while now, but this is my first time checking out anything with them. So very, very curious to see what these two units do. We will start off on the Power Tube Reactor and then get some tones with the Harmonic Distortion and then combine them together. What I really liked about this was you get the boxes and the pedals are partially assembled. So you get these little pedal kits, and it reminded me of being a kid on Christmas and getting some Lego and having the chance to follow the instructions on there and make some Lego. And that really engaged me and made me feel warm and happy to get started. The nice thing about these as well is if you want to customize them, there are instructions to do that as well. That aside, let's get into some of the tones. We'll start off with the Power Tube Reactor and go from there. Let's see where we end up on this video. Big thank you to the team at CMI Music here in Australia for sending these ones out to me on loan. No payment involved, but they did get me the pedals ahead of launch, which is why I'm putting out the video right now. So cheers to Felipe and the team there. Let's make some noise. The pedal that's immediately interesting to me is the Power Tube Reactor, so we will start there, but both pedals feature very, very similar layouts. You've got your four main controls on the Power Tube Reactor. They are volume, power sag, a blend control, and then the tube gain control. And then under here, you've got three additional parameters for the Power Tube Reactor. They are the tone control and then sustain and threshold for the power sag. So I'm guessing this is kind of like a tube compression circuit. For the Harmonic Distortion, you've got volume, tone, a gate, and then your overall gain control. Then you've got controls for each harmonic in here. We'll get to that. It's very, very interesting. It's a wild sounding pedal. We'll start with the Power Tube Reactor, which is, I guess, kind of designed to just take a sound you already like and just fatten it up and make it sound better. We'll start with the volume all the way up, but the mix at 0. So it's pretty much unity gain. Let's hear it. I like that a lot on there. The ability to have this blend so you can kind of do parallel compression and parallel drive is awesome, and it feels really, really good. Whether that is down to the NuTube or the actual circuit that supports the NuTube, you know, I'll leave that one for people to debate about, but it sounds good, it feels really good. Let's kind of do the little magic trick here and peel this back where we have these three little extra controls. I'm going to use a nail file to adjust these, but you've got tone, sustain, and threshold. So let's bring sustain up because I want to slam this. And let's bring the tone up a little bit just to kind of brighten things a tiny amount. Let's have a listen to what that does. I'll just stick this back down for all those people who are OCD about that stuff. Let's have a listen to it now. Very, very tasty with the Strat. Let's hear it with some humbuckers now. I have just increased the threshold a little bit, brought the sustain down, and leveled out the tone control. So this would be very much a set and forget per guitar kind of thing. It's nice to have that option in there. It's obviously designed, like I said, underneath this where you do set it and forget it. If you wanted to tweak it more, kind of would be nice to have little mini controls on here or something like that. But I do like that aesthetic where it's like, hey, do this once, forget about it. If you need to tweak something, these controls are going to be more powerful. So let's have a listen to the bypass tone and then I'll kick it in. Maybe we'll go for some nice tube drive and I'll try that power sag setting a little lower. While I was playing this, I was actually reminded of one of my favorite boosts, and it's in the old Line 6 M5, M9, M13. I think it's just called the Boost Comp, and it's a combination of a compressor and a boost, but it's a totally digital thing. This feels like an analog version of that, where you can set up your compressor to really goose the front end, or you can use the tube gain to do the same thing, and then you can blend them in. You've also got this little section here where you can customize stuff. Very cool. Let's try the harmonic distortion next. The manual for this one basically says start with these 3 controls in here all the way up, and it's going to sound pretty wild and crazy. So let's just see how wild and crazy this is, because the power tube reactor to me was way more towards the kind of this conservative, tasty end in there. It's got its own character, like I just said, but you know, more for subtle stuff. Let's see what this does, and we'll start with a patented A chord. That is nasty, filthy, disgusting. That's something I would expect out of an electro-harmonics pedal, not a Korg pedal. That's crazy. And even with the gain all the way up, you can still kind of hear what's going on with the notes. It's almost got a synth-like quality in there. So let's have some fun now and have a listen to what happens when we kind of peel back this thing over here. I think I've got everything cranked up. So let's do this. Let's take stage 2 and 3 all the way down and just have a listen to what we get. I'll play around with the amount of harmonic on stage 1, and then we'll just kind of bring the other 2 stages in. This should be fun. Okay, same settings, but with the first harmonic halfway up, the other 2 all the way down. Now with stage 1 all the way up and the other 2 all the way down, that kind of had a big fat fuzz sound going on. I really, really liked it. The tone control's not doing typical tone control things on there. It does get super harsh when it's all the way up, but kind of in an extreme fuzz way, and then all the way down, it's got something different going on. This is a very different thing. I've brought in the second harmonic at about halfway. The first one's still all the way up. Let's have a listen to what we get. This thing is extreme. It's definitely got that same sort of thing that something like the Source Audio Ultrawave has, or something like a combination between an Electro-Harmonix fuzz and their microsynth. Not subtle in the slightest. You can get, I guess, more traditional fuzz tones with the second and third harmonic controls all the way down, but I like this kind of wet sound that I'm getting out of this at the moment. That's really the only way to describe it. Maybe let's hear it with the Strat, and I'll actually kind of bring the overall drive down, and I might bring the volume control up. This is going to end up in total destruction, but let's just hear it on a Strat. Maybe I'll bypass it first, and then maybe I'll run it into the power tube reactor. It's like being able to have an old valve amplifier that you can just slash the speakers up on, overbias the power tubes, and run till stuff actually catches on fire. But nothing's catching on fire, you're just running a pair of pedals on here. So the harmonic distortion is totally wild. That, I don't think it's going to appeal to everybody, but if you are a distortion addict, you definitely owe it to yourself to check out one of these. The little harmonic controls on here are so cool, and they really, really let you go from pretty out there to absolute orbiting the galaxy. It's so cool. Having the gate in there to do gated fuzz stuff, as well as you heard, can get pretty nasty and pretty glitchy. And then the power tube reactor, that's really, really tasty. That's a great sounding smooth drive and parallel compressor. I think a lot of people are really going to like that. And whatever they're doing with the NuTubes sounds fantastic in my opinion. So I'll put some links in the video description if you want to learn more about these. Might play you out with some of my kind of bad off-brand imitation funk with the power tube reactor, because I did really, really enjoy that. That one feels great, especially with the Strat. Thank you to the team at CMI for sending over these two pedals for me to assemble and make some noise with. I will put those links in the video description. If you like what I'm doing on the channel, there's links to support my channel as well in there. Hope you all have a great day, and I will see you all next time. Thanks so much for watching.